Well, hello there, Apple Bites. This is your Apple Bite, Rafael Tavares, talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ, a show where you and I and you take a journey together to become better writers. And here we are again. We're kind of late, but I am sorry for that. We are having some technical difficulties in the background, but I have the Shadow here to help me out.
Yes, sir. Hey,
How you doing,
technical
Shadow?
difficult. I'm doing, man. I'm doing. We're just fortifying our equipment, and we are ready to bring in the new day with some comics and Kickstarters and good spirit.
That sounds like a blast to me. Oh man!
And if
So
that,
I see you have more space bastards back there.
oh
It
yes,
seems to
we're
have
talking
turned
to.
into like a plethora of space bastards.
I'm not gonna lie. The space bastards have won me over. I mean, they made a big impression at the start, but they've been hanging out with us, Eric and Joe, and they're just cool dudes and big supporter of their work. But we were talking to them the other night on Spine Ticks, and I still got it set up from there.
Oh man!
I made a few more of their characters, so.
You're still at it.
Oh yeah, man. I'm
Sup,
I'm
Angel?
going legit on the Space Bastards train, man. They're our boys, man.
It looks amazing, man.
Hey, you gotta
How many
support the
covers are
stuff you
those?
like.
Is that the same issue, first cover, or is it a bunch of different issues?
Oh no, I've got most of the cover. I've got a few top loaders left over, so they fit nicely in this display back here. But these are, I've got all the issues, and I got the
Oh no, they look
hardcovers too, man.
fantastic. It's
Angel, my man.
that looks dope, Shadow.
Well, thank you, bro. I gotta get you to try to do work on one of these, man. I bet if you make a sick cover for them, they would more than promote your work.
Ooh, you hear that, Angel? You might want to be a bastard.
Hey, man, they got some really sick variant covers up here. I'm
I
trying to
can
get them to
tell,
let
man.
me
I'm
do one
looking
of
at
them,
them back there.
but I,
They really stand out.
oh man, yeah, I'm starting to make their whole crew. I told
Oh,
them if they buy
look at
this
that!
guy, I will refill the whiskey bottle.
Just fantastic.
Thank you, my man. I do monsters and kind of deranged or cynical pieces really well. I think that's I can do pretty stuff too. This falls right into my wheelhouse.
Oh, by the way, Angel just released a variant cover for a book he's working on right now.
What?
Oh
Can
my
we
god, it
tell
looks
it? Let's hear
fantastic.
a
You
little
have
more
to
about it.
see it. Yeah.
It
So
is so
Shadow,
good.
Angel, make sure to put the title of the book you worked on right there in the messenger so people can check it out. All right.
Oh, he did post it. Okay, cool. I haven't been home all day, so I haven't been looking at my phone.
Yeah, he released the cover today.
Well, I definitely wasn't trying to allude to it a minute ago. But yeah, Angel, you already know, bro. You're the man. Son of a saint.
He's son of a saint.
If you don't know, you best learn it.
There you go. The name of the book is Footsteps.
Yeah, dude, it's sick. And the gentleman who designed the character has some really ridiculous artwork as well.
Ooh, so the Shadow
You
knows
know
a
that
little bit about the Footsteps.
a little bit. I was checking them out earlier, man. It's pretty sick. Man,
I
the
love
whole
the cover he
community.
did. Yeah, and I started checking out the rest of the stuff, and it's really interesting.
I mean, I don't know anything about the story yet, but it's not like I'm not susceptible to buying a cool book on cover price on just for the cover art. And hey, if it's something any of our boys get attached to, I know it's going to be sick on the inside too.
Completely. So, just before we start off here with our guests, there's a couple of things that we want to showcase to you guys. First of all, it's Nana, you know, has their Kickstarter
Ooh,
live. So if you guys want to go over there and support, it's Nana. He's got his whole thing going over here. It looks like they're about 3,000, about 4,000 away from their $10,000 dollar pledge there. So, help
Oh, and
them
we
out.
got plenty of time to go too. That they're doing
Oh,
great.
yeah.
173 backers already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the comic book is Nana, so and this is like a different take on it, as you can tell. With the cute fuzzy little creatures.
I'm unfamiliar with this particular story, but
Yeah,
you got a
I'm
rabbit
surprised.
with wraps on, so looks like something I got to look into.
Oh yeah, it's pretty decent here. Let's see. How long is this video? I guess it's not long at all. Yep, nothing's playing. Either that or my computer is having an issue with playing it.
Yep. Oh, yep. Try clicking that little play button one more time. Let's see.
One more time. Let's give you one more chance.
Roll that dice.
Roll that dice. Roll.
Well, anyway, it looks like a great story, and
It
I'm
is.
very.
I think he's working on something different with this. Of course, it's our friend Greg Anderson Elsie, who's
Okay.
in charge of this book, and we are going to go. Well, just support this, Nana. It's a great book. Check it out. We'll see if we can get the video the next time we're on. I just wanted to bring it out so you guys can check it out. Of course, I wanted to showcase our other creator, which is Kat, and her book, which is The Haunting Like Father Like Daughter crossover.
Yeah, that one looks
Oh my
scary,
God,
man.
the art looks amazing. It's a crossover story. I love Like Father Like Daughter. And Father's Day was just this weekend, so it's the perfect time to support this. It's an amazing thing. If you like supernatural stuff, this is the way to go, because we got The Haunting and Like Father Like Daughter being crossed over.
Yeah,
See, Bran is a
that
bratty
looks.
teenager who just wants to be left alone. Too bad wherever he goes, the dead rise. Casey is a high school student whose father abandoned her to become a full-time superhero. She finally forced to grapple with her complicated feelings towards him when she inherits his superpowers. That alone tells you some stuff there, people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, so check it out. If you like the supernatural aspect of things, this is the way to go. Again, like I said, I love Like Father Like Daughter, and just for that alone, I'm willing to check out this story here, even though I've heard good things about the writer of A Haunting.
I haven't read it because ghosts scare me, but I know it's very popular right now, and I
Man,
hope nothing but the best for them.
that's true. So let's start off with our pal here, Charles Santino, with his book Rammer.
Welcome, sir.
Good evening.
I think we
Or
surprised.
morning. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing there?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem,
course,
guy. We like what you have there. Let's have you kick this off by sharing your spiel. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell the audience what they want to hear.
Shortest elevator pitch in entertainment. Master thief in a future police state. And if you're afraid of a little bit of testosterone or a lot of testosterone, this is not the book for you. This guy
Time and place for everything.
Yeah, this guy this guy is full of toxic masculinity.
I like it. So let's play this video. Hopefully this one will play. Let's see what we got here. I'm having all sorts of technical difficulties over here. I love the music. Oh, there we go.
Send it over to me. Maybe I can run it on mine.
Just go to the Indiegogo and look for Remmer.
It's that easy. Look at that.
And we can tell the audience at the same time. Just go to Indiegogo and look for Rammer.
I'm not a big heavy metal fan, but I thought this music worked pretty well.
And it's Rammer, not Rammer.
Future feeling, you know.
What's that?
I always feel like heavy metal has that future feeling anyway. So.
Yeah, very Batman Beyond.
Exactly.
Sort of feel to it.
Well, we're getting a good idea of it, at least. We like the music. The art looks fantastic. You get a good feel for the character. He looks like he's badass.
Yeah, the first scene that you're seeing here is a museum heist gone wrong.
All right, let's share Shadow Rabbits and see what happens.
Yes, sir.
Ready? Stop mines. All right, Shadow, go ahead.
All right. I don't know if the music's going to play, though. I don't know. Can I share audio?
You should be able to. Oh, wait. You got your headphones on.
Ah, that's probably why it's bugging out.
Yeah.
Well, just assume there's awesome heavy metal music playing.
Well, we heard what the music sounds like.
Yeah.
So now we get to see what it looks great. I love this.
Is that better? Okay. Yeah, I like the style on it.
He's being chased by Ruptors, who are robot cops.
He's irresistible to the women.
No prize can daunt him. Ha.
He's dauntless in his prizes. Ooh, and some pretty sweet covers.
Yeah, that's the comic within the comic.
Ah, I've always liked the comic within a comic. So there you have it, folks. Charles Santino and his book Rammer, and it looks great. I love love the music when we were able to hear it, and the action looked fantastic as we saw it there.
I'm sorry, my guys. I figure out one thing at a time.
Yeah. There's the cover.
That's amazing.
No variant covers, although there are some covers within the book. Cool. There are alternate covers within the book.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, and I like that.
We were talking before that, the style looks very similar to the 90s DC style. You say you did that on purpose.
Yeah, that's intentional. I like that style, and it's clean, it's simple, and I figured it would be easier and quicker for the artists, and I'd be able to find more artists to be able to do the style and sort of create a house style. And the few artists that I've hired so far have all been able to keep their own imprint on things, but use the house style of this animated style.
That's important, yeah. That's always great to see what one artist would think it looks like and see another artist's take on it, and at the same time knowing exactly what they're doing.
This is actually, Paulo Perez is actually the third artist to work on the design of Rammer. Joe Staten did the first design, and then a guy named Andrew Wendell, who worked for Valiant in the 90s, did the second design. And Paulo Perez did the third and presumably final design.
Even Angel is saying over here that it's pretty smart.
Yeah, it's very clean. I like it. It's reminiscent, like you said, of the of 90s cartoons, but those were the height of American cartoons. So
it was
big fan of that.
Great, man.
And those comics still hold up. If you go back and read them, they're very, very well written, very simply written, but very well written. Self-contained stories. These are all self-contained stories as well. The first issue has a 24-page lead story. It is self-contained. A 6-page Rammer backup story, self-contained. And 2 Topps Tales of the Police State stories, 4 pages and 2 pages each, all self-contained.
I like your disclaimer about the origin story.
Yeah, well, it's not really important. He just is.
There you go. At this point, if people need an origin story, there's a lot of referential material to go back and figure out who killed Uncle Ben or something.
I like
Let's just
the fact that you're starting off and just showing the stuff. I like origin stories, but sometimes I feel like we can deal with that later.
Yeah,
You don't
we're
need to
just
know what
jumping in.
the origin right away.
We're just jumping in here.
Yeah.
This is a tryout page that Paulo did. I called this Aspects of Rammer, showing him in his different modes.
No man can stop him. No woman can resist him. No prize
can daunt him.
What more do you need to know about the man?
It's a very simple concept. I love it. Very clean. You're rooting for the bad guy because he is the bad guy.
As you scroll down, you'll see some pictures of Dominatra, Dami. She is the big sister of the police state. She may or may not. We see a little picture of her up there in the right. She may or may not be real, but her image is everywhere. Pictures, posters of her,
Interesting.
propaganda posters, statues. She's even on the money, and she's a figurehead, but we don't know if she's real or not.
Angel saying that the art is great. I agree.
This is the contents page, and this is Rammer in his bolero jacket mode.
I like the aspects of his flying equipment here. So he's got kind of an exoskeleton built up around him for it.
Yep, powered by hydrogen. Clean burning hydrogen.
Well, at least he's eco-friendly.
Yes.
The biggest crime of all.
There's the propaganda poster. Matt Chick is an artist based in New York City. He did this. I gave him the Dominatra image and the words "Dami loves you," and in the background is the flag of the GFA, the Global Freedom Authority. That's the one world government. And their flag is as creepy as they are.
They sound nice.
Those are the only three elements I gave him, and he came up with this. And this is going to be one of the perks. It's in the comic itself, but if somebody wants a little mini poster of it, that's one of the perks. And I think Matt did a fantastic job.
Oh, he did a great job.
I like that a lot.
It has that feel of that Andre the Giant thing that was all over the place, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, he worked at the Strand bookstore at the time, and my daughter, who lives in New York City, spotted him, and she said, "Dad, you might want to take a look at this guy. This guy's art is pretty good."
It is.
And I contacted him, and I said, "Okay, this looks great, and this poster really knocks it out of the park."
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. So you're saying you're offering that? Is that part of a tier reward?
That is part of one of the tiers. You get the comic, 48 pages plus covers signed by me, and this poster signed by Matt. That's one of the tiers.
That's great.
This is the comic within the comic. Here's another very different depiction of Dominatra. And this is an artist named Dave Barden. And I told him, give me a Soviet-style propaganda poster for the cover of the comic within the comic, Tops Tales of the Police State. These are funky, depressing, downbeat little stories of what it's like to live in a future police state. Again, we see the flag, we see Dominatra, and we see the Ruptors, the robot cops.
And, it does have that Soviet feel to it, yeah.
Yeah, in the future, you will be a criminal. What that means is that really you can't, if you don't go to the bathroom the right way, you're breaking a law.
Damn.
Yeah,
I see you've really thought out the world. That's good because, it gives you a feel for everything.
Yeah, I want you to feel as if the world is very well thought out, even though it's not in the foreground of most of the stories. It's just kind of in the background. But I do want you to get the sense that it has been simply but clearly thought out.
I think that's important.
Yeah,
and it shows you put a lot of effort into, mapping out the whole world around it. then these little vignettes really can play into it. And you don't have to describe the origin story. You don't have to give all that away.
And I stripped a lot out of what was in the world building. It was getting a little bit too big and a little bit too complicated, so I pared it back to what it is now, just so it doesn't get in the way of the stories.
Yeah, I like this one.
This is a possible cover for the second issue. The second issue is already drawn. The first issue is done.
Nice.
The second issue is just about done. This is a robot, but not a police robot. This is a private robot. One of the bad guys, or one of this is guarding the estate of somebody that Rammer's going to be robbing. It occurred to me in finishing the second story that Rammer's probably going to face some sort of robot in every story just because it looks cool, and nothing says the future like robots. And if you remember Magnus Robot Fighter, that's definitely an influence on Rammer.
Is that also a way to avoid living violence similar to Samurai Jack or something like that, where
interesting,
if he deals damage on someone, they wind up a robot?
That's a good point. I never really thought about that, but I'm certainly going to digest that idea.
Ooh, you might have caused some shadowing.
Yeah, I think that was probably, I never looked into it, but if I had to assume, maybe that was a intentional move on them, since it was a children's book, so you wouldn't necessarily be handcuffed to that, but it looks like it might be a nice callback if you were interested in that sort of thing.
Definitely going to make a note.
It makes sense to me, you do weird things, it's funny because they go, what's green? It's green blood. It's still blood.
Yeah, you blow a robot apart. You don't have gore. You just have gears
and oil.
Yes.
The viscera can be very grotesque if it's just gears and stuff blasting out of them. But in any case, I mean, this looks fantastic.
It does. It looks great. What you have is fantastic here.
Thank you.
And it's
super clean. I like it a lot.
You are at $838 right now, right?
Yeah, the goal for this was pretty modest. The book is done. I was really just trying to raise enough money to print the thing without dipping into the bank account, and right. We're almost there. $1,000 really is probably what's going to take to print.
That's what I thought that you were looking for. I figured that you were probably shooting for about $1,000.
Yeah, and this will go in demand at the end of the campaign.
Well, for $60, you can get Rammer 1 with a sketch, and I'm sorry, what else to say here?
The propaganda poster, the original art sketch, and the book itself signed by me. Nice. The original art has to come from Brazil, so that I want to see how many of those he's gonna ship to me, and got to make sure he gets the right paper and the right size, and does his sketches and packs them up nice and tight and gets them to me. I have no idea what it's going to cost for him to ship a tiny little package to me. Probably less than it would cost for me to ship it to him.
True. Oh, that looks great.
I promised you a little anecdote about why Rammer is spelled R-A-M-M-U-R.
Oh, that's right. You did.
Yeah.
So tell us the story.
Well, originally he was called Rammer, E-R. And I thought, I want the web address of the character's name. So let's see if that's available. And I looked at www.rammer.com. And that is taken by a company in Finland that manufactures heavy equipment. So I thought, okay, can't use that. Then I thought, how about R-A-M-M-A-R? That would still sound like Rammer. Look that up, and that is a chain of grocery stores in Turkey. So that was taken. So then I typed in R-A-M-M-U-R, and that was available. So I immediately grabbed it, And I thought, that's okay. This is the future. Still got the word ram in there, and it's a little bit weird, but it's pronounceable, easier to trademark. So I thought, okay, that's actually a happy accident. So I'm going to go with that. I'm happy with that. And most people seem to pronounce it correctly the first time, but I figure it'll be kind of a hip thing to know how it's actually pronounced. So somebody will be correcting somebody else. No, it's Rammer. It's pronounced Rammer.
It's great, and it gives you a great story to tell. Oh, this is how I got it. And as a writer, it's always interesting how we name things. And I feel like the fact that you wanted to name it this, but you decided to name it that, it all comes together in a strange way. But at the same time, it's fascinating that you ended up with the way it's spelled now.
And it does tie into his gear. He's got a hydrogen ram scoop on his chest. It feeds to the compact fusion reactor on his back, and all of that powers his wrist jets and wrist blasters and leg jets. And is a compact fusion reactor ridiculous? Yeah, but is it any more ridiculous than a guy who was bitten by a radioactive spider?
You're right.
This is comics.
The whole thing in comics is you put away your disbelief. You enjoy the comic. Yeah.
Yep. And the only thing is you don't want to violate your own rules. But it doesn't really matter what your rules are, as long as they're clear and you've laid them out.
Yeah.
And then you don't violate your own rules.
I completely agree. And it's one of those rules of the creator universe. If you're creating your own world, all you got to make sure of is not to violate your own laws, because then people will be like, but you said before.
Exactly. Now, I started out many years ago writing Conan for Marvel. And this was back when it sold about 100,000 copies a month.
Right.
And that was the borderline of cancellation at Marvel. Today, you sell 100,000 copies a month. You're probably the number one comic. And Conan, probably. Yeah, Conan at the time was the number 100 comic, and that was near the cutoff line for Marvel. And you talk about violating rules. We decided, and this was issues 214 was my first issue. We decided to start slipping in stories with no element of sorcery or magic. Now Conan is sword and sorcery.
Yeah.
But we thought the character was so good that we could probably write a straight adventure story and it would probably be a good story. So we slipped it in. The editor, if he noticed, he didn't say anything. And the letters pages never reflected it, but people enjoyed the stories. But I'm not even sure they noticed. There was no element of magic or sorcery. We ended up doing it out of 7 issues that I did. I think we did it 4 or 5 times. Just straight adventure stories with no element of magic. And those were the first stories in Conan the Barbarian to do so. I later found out that Chuck Dixon did it a couple of times in Savage Sword of Conan.
Interesting.
But in Conan the Barbarian, the color comic, we did it for the first time. I don't know if it was the only time, but apparently it worked, and the character was a strong enough character. So we violated the element of sword and sorcery. We just had the swords.
Seems appropriate that Conan would be the one to slash through that particular rule. Would you be credited with making him more of a thief, of a witty, character, as opposed to just going up against wizards and stuff, grabbing women?
He was the same character. He was exactly the same, except that he was facing human foes, or animals in some cases that were just beasts that might be alive at that time.
It sounds like it's something that you should work either way, because it is still sword, and you're still, if you're going to look at it through a D&D type eye, you're still facing that type of character that you should face, as the character you are.
And since the nature of your show is about writing, I get asked all the time. So, how do you plot? How do you plot these stories? How does it work?
Good question.
And I start out with a basic nugget of an idea, and I write it out into a 25-word summary. And if it works, if it sounds good, if it sounds so good in the 25-word description that I just absolutely have to write that story, then I know it's solid. And I will write and rewrite that 25-word description before I move on. And it usually ends up being exactly 25 words. Sometimes it's 24, sometimes 26, but I try to discipline myself with that description. Now, once I have that description, I then write usually a 4 or 5 page synopsis that details what's going to happen in the story, maybe a little bit of dialogue for the flavor. And then when that works, I do something that only a few writers who are not also artists do. I actually draw the story.
Whoa.
And I use the word draw very, very loosely.
I feel you, brother. I do a lot of good stick figure drawing.
Yeah, I lay it out. And what happens in that stage is that a lot of what I wrote in the prose synopsis, 3 or 4 or 5 pages, I realize it's not quite going to work visually. And so important changes are made at the breakdown stage, the layout stage. And then once I've drawn the entire story in the little stick figures and I have all the angles and I know what's going to happen, then I write a script based on my breakdowns. And the artist never sees my breakdowns. They only see the script. And it's really interesting when I get the breakdowns from the artist, how close the breakdowns are to mine, even though they never saw it. And I usually don't describe angles too much in my script. So there's kind of a psychic thing going on between me and the artist. They kind of understand based on my descriptions what I'm looking for. So it all seems to work pretty well. Every once in a while, I will show a sketch to the artist because I just can't describe it in words accurately. And those drawings are pretty pathetic, but it shows them what I'm looking for. And I give them a lot of photo reference too.
That's all a big deal.
Yeah. I like your process. I think that's actually a good way for some people to handle it, because I know people ask me all the time, how do you do this and how do you do that? And I think you got a very good process there.
There are a couple other writers who are not artists who do that. I believe Mike Barron does it. There are a few other people, very few though. And a lot of times when I look at comics, I realize, okay, this writer doesn't understand what works visually. And even a dialogue page has to work visually. There's Wally Wood's famous 22 panels that always work.
Yeah.
Where he's showing you how you can make dialogue interesting. And there's no limit to how many ways you can do that. If you have some sort of action going on, even mild action, just movement of some kind while the dialogue is going on. If you watch shows like, and there's a million shows that do this, Law and Order in particular, 2 people are walking down the street having a conversation. Now, in real life, they'd have that conversation sitting down in a room.
Yeah.
But no, they have the conversation, and then there's always that conversation where they're talking to somebody that they're trying to get information from. And, usually that person is loading the back of a truck or doing something and trying not to have the conversation with the cops. And so you're seeing action, you're getting the exposition, you're getting the dialogue across, but it's not a bunch of people standing around talking. It's a bunch of people doing something
and talking.
while they're talking. In superhero comics, you can have the characters flying around, just getting from one place to another, and then give us some dialogue that gets the point across.
Yeah, it's always great to have it more dynamic to get the audience more into what you're doing. You know, show you got ways to show off the character in different ways, especially during a conversation.
Yeah, I try to keep Rammer visually interesting. I want you to be able to see what's going on just by looking at it. To use a sports analogy, and I'm not big into sports, but to use a sports analogy, the pictures are the play-by-play, and the dialogue and the captions are the color commentary.
I love what you got put together, brother. It looks
Thank
really
you.
good. You got a good story going. The world creation is tight. It's just amazing. So, what's your final pitch here? Well, what do you want the audience to know?
I want you to know that if you like heist stories, caper stories, crime stories, as opposed to mystery stories, and a mystery you don't know who did it. Here you know who did it. You just don't know if he's going to get caught or killed. If you like that kind of story, if you like the old pulpy, masculine, testosterone-laden type of stories that you might have read in a paperback in the 50s, this is for you. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. The book is done. The backers are going to get their copies pretty quickly. I said October in the campaign.
Nice.
Probably it'll be before that, but I just figured, you never know what's going to happen at the printer.
All right, so they want to find you. They want to find the book. Give us all the places we can go.
Indiegogo right now, Rammer #1. Find me on Facebook, Charles Santino. There's also a page called Rammer and Tops Tales of the Police State. I'm on Twitter every once in a while. That's Charles Santino. Also Instagram every once in a while, Charles Santino.
That's good. And Charles, we're probably going to have you on the show again because I love all the stuff you were talking about writing there. And it is a writing show, and I feel like I'll bring you back probably for our comic writing episode that I'm working on.
Oh, that would be excellent. And I love to talk about my process.
Yeah, it's good because a lot of the times it helps the writer or the writers out there to see process so they can understand it much better. All right.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Check out more of this book.
Anytime.
Definitely check out Rammer. It looks fantastic. It's on Indiegogo. It still has 11 days left. Let's get him to $1,000 and maybe some more money if we can. There we go.
All right. Thanks a lot.
No problem. And we'll see you next time, Charles.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. That was great. Cool, I like this book, Rammer. It looks really good. And you know me,
yeah,
I'm
excited to check it out more.
Detective story. I love a good pulp story, and this thing looks just like that.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not? And those old '90s graphics and everything. They're super clean. You see what's going on, and yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes with this. I like that.
I agree.
The dominatrix, big
that
sister.
Looks really cool, right? Yeah.
The Tommy loves you. I thought that was pretty funny.
I want to see where that goes. Yeah, it looks like a good mystery.
That was more than enough to spark my interest, and yeah, it's fun to root for the bad guys once in a while.
It is. Speaking of bad guys, you like your werewolves, you like your vampires, you just like a good story. And I feel like the guys at Ace do that. And I want to bring him up right now. And there's Dwayne, our friend. And guy, we've been with you since CradleCon a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it's funny because your pictures popped up recently on my feed. And I was like, oh, there go the guys.
There's nothing bad about these guys. They are legit.
Louis, what's going on, man? How are you, brother?
Man, I miss you, man.
Yeah, man. Vaughn misses you too, bro.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Nice Shadow Rabbit piece.
Yeah. Still rocking out with it. Always keep it close to me, man.
Oh, so man, let's start off with the big question. what have you been up to during the pandemic? Because I feel like as I've been watching your page there, you guys have been doing tons and tons of things, and I've been seeing interesting animations and interesting art and interesting. It's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah. We one of the main things that we wanted to do was we wanted to really kind of go back but go forward at the same time. So one of the things that we wanted to do is that we looked at the comics that we had, the comic series that we had, which is the Nightfall series and the Salvation series.
Mm-hmm.
And we felt like there could be a lot more that could be introduced, a lot more things that could be told in the 2 issues that we have for Nightfall and in the 2 issues that we have for Salvation. Well, I should say for the Salvation issue 0. Issue 1 came out this year. So that's what we did. I literally went back and added some things, added some different artwork that I was working on that I wanted to put in originally. So I did that, and that's what we came up with the new series. It's not really the new series, but the new version of it, I guess.
Right.
And so that's what our new Kickstarter is basically about, releasing our new version of the Nightfall Michael Awakening series. It's actually coming out. Will be available on the 28th. And yeah, I'm excited about it, and hopefully that it will be successfully funded, because we feel that it's a great story and it's something that people will really enjoy. But as I said, by going back but also moving forward, we're also working on our over-the-top comedy store, comic book called Brook City, which is the pictures that you saw there is that's it right there. That's the main characters.
Those 2 main characters look a little familiar. Yeah, but the guy looks familiar from somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Take the glasses off, get the Clark Kent version, and you get the Superman version. But yeah, because living in New York, you guys know, there's tons of crazy things that happens to us on a day.
All the time.
Sometimes you can just stand back and go, did that really just happen? That just really happened. And so when we were younger,
was that a naked guy on the train? There was a naked guy on the train.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy thing. And
that's an easy day.
That was one of the things that, when we were younger, we used to always talk about, man, remember that time when that happened? And then this happened? And we was like, man, wouldn't that be crazy if we could write like an actual story about it? And then so that's kind of where the juices really came from, the stories really from Brook City. And, we wanted to do something that was really kind of pop culture-ish, throw in those kind of pop culture references from our day, not from right now, maybe the 90s and things like that. Something like Power Rangers or something really crazy that we could like link to it. So we really just, instead of taking like actual events that might have happened to us, we wanted to just create some really crazy, over-the-top, funny stuff. And that was what we did with Brook City. It's like, even with this right here, this has nothing to do with the story. It's just something that we wanted to show, like where the story can go. Like, imagine if the ghost that you see there, his name is actually Yoji. There's no real explanation on what exactly he is, because he's introduced. He kind of is introduced as like this entity, because the fact that Yoji, he actually can transform and turn his body into anything. So when I was saying the pop culture references, as I was pertaining to the Power Rangers, when we actually get our changers, he actually changes into the Zord. That we need to tackle this monster in the first chapter. I just gave you like a huge spoiler right there, but it's cool.
No, I don't think that was a good. That was
heard
a
it
good
here
tease,
first,
man. That wasn't a spoiler. That was a tease. I'm like, it does what? I want to see that now.
Because the thing is, like I said, he's like an unexplained entity. He looks like a ghost, but he's way more than that. I'm actually putting together this other piece where it's actually a little bit more of like the 90s or late 80s kind of hip hop look, where everybody has like the thick chains and the hats, so we're gonna have all 3 characters kind of resemble that type of look, but like I said, you know, this story I'm super excited about because, you know, we're kind of known right now for the horror genre, but we don't want to really be typecast in any genre. You know, we want to be able to just,
No, you want to be able to do
write
more
whatever.
than just, you know, because we love stories. That's what
Exactly.
we're about. We're about stories. And believe me, I understand what you're saying because even I have like a couple of stories that are set in the 90s, a couple of characters that are just set in the 90s. So I completely feel where you're coming from.
Yes. It's so
I mean,
when
look
I
at these
first did
guys.
it, I was like, man, this feels weird drawing myself. Like I never actually sat down and actually did it. You know, like and people always was like, "You never drawn yourself before?" No, never really had the need to draw myself. So it was really weird. It was fun drawing Terrence though, but me not so much. But yeah,
You're
you
too
know,
hard on yourself. It came out great.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just
This
never
art is
really had the
amazing.
time to do that or something like that, you know. So, but it came out good, and that's all that matters, you know.
Oh,
There you
the
go.
effects you guys were doing, you know, because that's what I was talking about before. I saw these effects and I was like, wow, this because the art is beautiful as it is, and then you got these
Yeah,
effects that make everything stand out. And, you know, and I
yeah.
saw these pieces and I was like, oh my god, you know,
The
Yeah,
new one
this
actually
was
that I'm actually gonna be putting out on the 28th for the cover, which is the cover for the Kickstarter.
oh, look at
That
that.
one that I'm actually gonna release. It's actually that. But the how could I explain it without really giving it away? Because sometimes, you know, like when you're talking about something and you're kind of going in and you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh no, we
You can't spoil
understand
something that's
you
good.
here,
But
Yeah,
I would say that the animation that I put into it, it's a little bit of a foreshadowing, a little bit for like the next couple, the next 2 issues of the Nightfall series that are gonna be coming out. It's telling you about a little bit about that, and it's in a way where you really don't know until you know. So it's
Right.
not really like giving it away too much, you know. But yeah, this one I actually really enjoyed. But I would say one of my favorites is actually the transformation one, the one with Michael and he's actually like going up like that and he's actually turning.
yeah.
That one is my
This one.
favorite.
Oh,
That
yeah, I
one.
remember this.
That one took.
Wow.
It seems so simple and it seems like, oh man, it didn't take that long, but it actually took me a minute because I wanted to really get it really right where it looks like he's actually like it's actually going upward, where he's actually like turning so his body is, you know, kind of morphing into it. So this really took me a minute, with the lightning and the timing and the music. I always am. I'm a huge fan of music, so I always. Why is there no
I
sound?
can't run the sound on here. Sorry.
Oh man, but
What
yeah,
program
you know,
were you using for
when it comes
that?
to music, I always try to make sure that I get something that's a little more theatrical, or something
that
that
is
you can
really
really
theatrical. I gotta tell you,
go with it. You know.
I have to tell you that this stuff has been standing out so much. Like, you know, that's why I mentioned it because I was looking on your pages and going, oh my god, look at this stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
This
man, I
is so
appreciate it.
sick.
You know, like because when I first did it, you know, I hired an artist, and I was still trying to really pick up on because I'm self-taught. I didn't go to school for it. You know, a friend of mine
Right.
told me, and I slowly picked up on it. So when I first did it, you know, I was like, all right, well, let's just hire someone. So when we did issue 1, you know, it was really just him doing the artwork. You know, we kind of worked together with the cover, but essentially it was mainly kind of really him. But I wanted to add so many more pages and so many more pieces and just everything in issue 1. And I wasn't able to because I was trying to save money, you know. So it was very expensive to pay artists. But then when I finally felt confident enough to do it myself, I went back and I added more stuff and I added a few pages. Especially to issue 2. Issue 2 has a lot more pages than it had originally, and that's one of the things that I'm really excited about, you know, because it gives you more details on the story, so you have a better understanding of what's going around Michael and who Michael is becoming at the same time. You know what I mean? His evolution, or is his awakening, I should say. You know, throw in the title, why don't you, right? But
Exactly.
True. Might as well.
yeah, it's there. Is a reason why, and that really is the reason. Is that it's really about this main character, Michael, who is basically a normal college quarterback that finds out from his mother that he has a legacy line of werewolves within him. And it's up to him to believe that what she's saying is true or not, because when his mother first came into the town, there were a lot of unexplained events that had happened. And because of that, the townspeople have dubbed his mother the town crazy woman. So when his mother approaches him, telling him that he has this legacy line of werewolves within him, it kind of brings back those thoughts about maybe my mom actually was crazy. And, she's had many crazy little, unexplained events that has happened.
Right.
Sometimes she comes home with scars, and she has permanent scars on her arms, and it was never explained how she got them or why she has them. So these things always was in his head. You know what I mean? So at the end of the first issue, when they have this kind of discussion, he kind of like doesn't believe her, and things happen, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But it continues on in issue 2, and it really explains what exactly is a legacy line. And to put it bluntly, a legacy line is basically you're the top tier of a werewolf or a lichen. You can turn into your true state or your true form, your lichen form, call it what you will, at any point. It doesn't have to be nighttime. It doesn't have to be full moon. It can be anytime. You can, boom, you're done. But then there's also a very, very select few of people that have a legacy line where they don't have to turn, where they basically turn inward. So they have all of their abilities in their human state, but their eyes will determine that. And there's a character that is introduced in issue 2 that has that ability. And another thing that I always really kind of enjoy too is I love Easter eggs. I love them. Yeah. I've always, definitely. I try to throw as many into my other story, the immortal story that I'm working on, as possible. But there's a few in issue 1. In issue 2, I didn't really want to throw in too many because I really wanted to focus on the story, but in issue 1, the biggest one, it really is when they go to the movie theater to go see a movie with his girlfriend, Melissa. The movie that they go see is a movie called Salvation.
I like that.
Yeah.
Who don't know the Easter egg in that.
You don't know, figure it out.
Yeah, man. If you don't understand what's going on, you understand what's going on.
So that's a really cool one that I was really doing. There's one there. Is half human, half demon state there.
Yeah, look at how sick that is, man.
That is sick.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's filthy. He's got his mark and everything.
Mark there, yeah.
Yeah, dude. These are. Can I ask what program you're using to make these effects?
The animation.
Yeah.
The animation called Motion Leap. I use that.
Wow.
And it's really good. I like it.
The normal artwork is ridiculous to begin with.
Yeah, the artwork.
Yeah, the animation.
That's bugged me out. That's what I was telling you before. I feel like the normal artwork is like pow, and you add the animation to it, it's like boom.
Yeah.
My colorist, we're a good, mix between each other. Like I can put out the work, and then he'll, like, sometimes I don't even have to tell him what colors to put in the background. He'll just, like, for this one, I didn't tell him anything. I just gave him my part, and he just came with the colors, and I was like, what made you want to do the red? What made you want to do the blue? That's great. I love that. Like, that's what I like. It's like, how the guy was saying before is where, you don't have to really tell the other person what you want to do. Like, they just know, and they just pick up, and it's a great mix. Great. It feels more like you guys as one. Turning into a Zord, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are just mixing together and blending it, and it works well. And that's what my color John Cruz does. I can send him sometimes something, and I don't have to tell him what colors, and he just comes back with these phenomenal colors that just fits and it looks good. So hats off.
This is stunning. Yeah, if you know, you know. When you got that when you're vibing with someone like that and they can just fill in all the blanks for you, that's incredible.
Well, it's really, you need a good relationship. with the artist, because it helps your book.
It does. It does. Because a lot of people are still very huge fans of color in comics. And in issue 1, it starts off in black and white.
Yep.
And the reason why it starts in black and white is you really have to kind of really, really read the comic to really understand why. But it does go into color, and it slowly goes into color because it's containing to the story. But that was something that I kind of originally I was like, I kind of want to just do all black and white, and just see where that goes with it.
Oh,
but
vicious.
This was really fun doing. I did. This was like one of the first animations I did with the motion leap. This one was really cool. I enjoyed doing this one. I just love this cover. Like this cover. Oh man, I went through so many iterations for the first issue of the cover, and I just really wanted to have something that is eye catching, but it also tells the story of the first issue. It's I said it's a normal guy who finds out that he has this legacy line of wills within him. That's why the werewolf itself is not fully there. It's kind of like almost like a silhouette. Like it might be there, but it's not there. It's like a shadow almost.
Exactly.
So I just really wanted to have something that really kind of explains the story. And I went through so many. I can't tell you so many ideas. I would say like in the 50s coming up with something. Some of them I kept, and then I was like, oh, this would be great. This would be great.
That's how it works, yeah.
No, it's missing this.
I might use this later, might not use it, might use it for other things.
Exactly.
Like you even got Charles, going, Nightfall looks solid.
Oh, Charlie, what's up,
I know
sir?
him from Facebook. Yeah, we're actually friends.
Oh, cool.
Stuff.
Yeah. So, that coincidence when things happen like this.
Yeah, I think artists are great artists always end up meeting each other eventually. I'm actually friends with Greg too.
It's kismet, man.
It's kismet, yeah. Well, you know what they say, especially in the entertainment field, it's a small circle. They say, everybody thinks it's like this, but it's usually like this. Mm-hmm. And that's why they tell you don't mess with the people around you because you never know who's who.
Yeah, that's true, man. Well, I mean,
man, you pick. How many times I bumped into Louis? Go, hey, Louis, what's going on, bro?
It's true, man. I mean, I think I met you guys like my second show, and
right,
man, you've come a little bit away since then.
Didn't know like what to expect, it's like, oh man, what if people are like actually like, battling to get, people and, walking over, hey man, you're taking too many of my people, And but when I got there, you and Kyle, oh man, you guys are so cool and nice. I was just like, man, this is nice. I like this. This is cool. And then you start meeting fans or people that actually like the work, and it's just a really cool environment. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be like a really big venue like New York Comic Con. It could be something small like CradleCon. But it's just the people, like the people, they come from all different types of creeds and colors and backgrounds. Nobody hates anybody. No one's like, oh, you're this or you're, it's just, hey man, I like Batman and this Joker that's saying it. You know what I mean? Like that's cool. There's no there's nothing, arguments. It's just happiness, and that's how the world should be. But unfortunately, as we all know, it's not. But at least we have that little piece of joy where we have these conventions or
exactly.
or whatnot, and that's what it's all about. At least you can have that little escapism. You know what I'm saying?
Man, from your mouth to God's ears, man. That's
exactly.
It's hard to say it any better than that. That's why I do these things, man. Because I'm showing up and I'm hanging out with my friends, and like I was saying, man. You were like my second show. The first one, I was so nervous, man. I was like, I don't know anybody. People start coming up. Ralf starts coming up. Everybody talking about Batman and throwing stars and comic books. Like, wait a second, am I home? Did I just find a home?
Yeah.
Oh man, Lou was on the side, and I go over to him and go, "You're one of us. You're a geek like us. You're insane like us. So we're gonna interview you."
Because I remember the first interview from
Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie, right?
Leslie,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was trying to think of her alias.
Sister Soldier.
Yeah, Sister Soldier, right? So yeah, because I remember her coming over and she was looking at some stuff, and I was like, "Is she gonna interview us? This is gonna be her first interview. This is gonna be her first interview. Yeah, this is gonna be cool." And oh man, she just really made me feel really comfortable by talking about the story and asking us questions. And
You guys did great. For your first interview, you guys did really great.
Yeah, it was a good experience. But so much has changed since then. I've changed my logo. Like I told you last time when I saw you, is that I really wanted to do like a complete overhaul of.
Oh, you did completely, yeah.
And I kind of just changed the logo, changed the artwork, the covers, and just really kind of picked it up. That's actually our feature story that my brother is actually working on.
Man.
Story of Doom. Speaking of bad guys,
cool.
Charles was just talking about that. This story is actually about the antagonist. It's about the main character. His name is Katsuichi, and he is it's set in actual feudal Japan, and the character is it's more like kind of similar to I guess you could say like Macbeth a little bit.
Okay.
Where it kind of like is like a rise to fall type story, but it's really dark, and my brother,
if that doesn't tell you about it right there,
of aspects of stories, and he really dives into this one. This was a story that because in Salvation there's some dark stuff in there, but in this, yeah, he picks it up. He really picks it up in story wise. And he's really like, yeah, I want to add this. I was like, all right, we'll do this. Let's go. Because we want, like I said, we want to have just different types of stories. And this is something that's really outside the box. But the Immortal story is one of them. That's.
Speaking of Leslie, you saw her down there.
Oh yeah, she is. Yeah, I always kept that one, even though I changed so much and took out so much of the old stuff. She's actually like the very first post, I believe.
There you go.
Yes.
Mr. Slayer, Leslie. Woo!
So much.
Oh my God! Look, you guys look so young.
Still look young. I don't age.
Yeah, man, you're still looking good. 2020 was hard on some of us. You're still looking fine, man.
That's funny. Sometimes how writers, they usually use actual events or things that might have happened to, help further the story. That's actually where the idea of the Immortal story came from, is because I don't age, I look the same. So I was
you
like,
and Keanu in the end.
I was going to kind of play into that. So that was kind of, I don't have any artwork for the Immortal.
Yeah,
I took that off. But
I'll just go back to this one then.
Yeah, actually, I don't. Can you guys share it? I can actually show you guys a preview of the Kickstarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can actually show you it. So I just hit like share, and then that's it.
Yeah. Right. You can switch over to you.
Okay.
Yes, sure. Share. Go ahead.
Oh man, we got a sneak peek, everybody.
Yeah.
Sneaky peeky.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited, man. Everything you guys come out with, it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you've been popping all this art up onto the pages, and I've been like, oh my God, look at this! Oh my God, look at this! Oh, adding the animation to because I'm telling you, the art looks fantastic as it is. Then you put the animation on top of it, and it's just wow.
Okay, can you see what I see right now? Can you see?
Hold on, there it goes.
Okay, so you can see me going up and down.
There you go.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So this is actually the Kickstarter. One of the awards that I was really excited about was last time when we did our Kickstarter, which unfortunately was not successful. Was that a lot of people?
I was going to ask you about that.
We're going to fix that this time.
Yeah, what do you think that happened? Because I had gone, I looked at your stuff and go, oh, well, this thing's gonna freaking go right away.
I don't know. I think sometimes maybe it's a little harder to put out two different comics with one kick, maybe. Okay. So that's why we decided to just do one separately, and this is just only the Nightfall series.
All right,
we're gonna go back and do the Salvation one, and we're gonna add a whole bunch of different rewards for the Salvation one. But this one is actually these two are actually my favorite because this one we actually draw you with Michael, the main character.
Oh, that's nice.
But not just as a digital, we actually send it to you. So you can actually have it posted on your wall or, you know, desktop, wherever you want it. And this is actual physical poster. So that's what we're kind of super excited about.
That's great.
But we also give you the actual digital version. So that way you can take it and you know, print it as big as possible as you ever wanted it to be. But yeah, you know,
you get to be a character in this.
Actually have it in their hands themselves and don't have to go through the work of doing the printing. We do it for you. And so these two are like my favorite. But let's see if we can play the video. Let's go up. There we go.
I'm having trouble with video, so let's see what happens.
Hello and welcome to
ugly guy.
My name is Dwayne Roberts Jr. and I am the owner of Animation, Comics, and Entertainment LLC, or ACE for short. Please enjoy this brief.
Nice T-shirt though.
That's
very cool.
Yeah.
But to get the full rundown of our story, please head down to the story section down below. But also be sure to check out all.
If you minimize the window a bit, it'll make the video inside it bigger. Oh, okay, we do that, I guess, probably.
Uh-huh.
Sure. I didn't want to go into detail too much, you know, in the video. I really kind of wanted people to really just go into the story. That way they can go here and then they can continue down with the covers and just keep going down the whole rabbit hole of everything that we've created. You know, each page, I should say, gives you a little description on what you're seeing in front of you. So you're just not just a picture. This is actually an introduction of what you saw earlier in the video. This is Vivian. This is Michael's aunt. And also the woman I was telling you guys earlier about with the person that can transfer her powers or her abilities inward. So she doesn't have to necessarily change into her werewolf state. She actually has all of her abilities in her human state. That's why, let's scroll down some.
And again, I like how, you know, it starts black and white and it starts to pick up color slowly until
her eyes are different colors. As you can see, they're yellow.
Yeah.
That's because when you turn inward and you have your ability like that, your eyes change a whole different type of color. They don't like for instance, when you change into your werewolf state, your eyes are changed, but everybody's family has a certain color. So the Vash family has like a brownish, goldish type color. So when she turned for the first time inward, her eyes remained the same. Her eyes were normal, normal brown, but when she turned into her lichen state and it turned inward, her eyes didn't change. They stayed the same as her werewolf state. But these are the character cards that will be available, and they're actually part of some of the rewards. Actually, all the rewards.
That's awesome.
Is actually my favorite one. The Lucius Vashu is actually the main villain. This is Michael's grandfather, and basically the reason why his mother had to escape into the town that they lived in. And yeah, so these are all the beautiful posters.
Wow, yeah, they are.
This is the family itself. This is the mother, Diana. This is actually her new gear that I designed. This is actually her gear that she actually used to go into battle with along with her sister. This is Michael's sort of sister. They're not actually blood brothers, brother and sister, but they did grow up together. And this big old guy here is actually Michael in his werewolf state.
Nice.
And as you can see, his colors, he has the full golden color. Bless you. And you have them again. You have the females, because that's one thing about the story. Even though the story is called Michael's Awakening, you would think that it's really just mainly about him, but it's not. The females in the story are really badass. All of them. You know, I'm not one to write stories about damsels in distress and just characters that he kind of like the females are in the sideline not doing anything. No, I want to show the females kicking some ass too, you know. And,
you know, they look like they handle themselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they look like they can kick some butt.
Yeah, because Vivian, Vivian is actually the strongest character in the story. She's by far the strongest. No one is any closer to her. Then you have brother and sister love right here. You know, you got Michael and you got Tori, or AKA Victoria.
Love you snuck in one of the superhero poses for him too. I like that.
Yeah, you know, I had to have one. You know, I felt like this. But the thing was, I kind of really didn't want to do it, but I felt like it would look cool to show like the dynamic.
For this one, I think it works great. Yeah.
But I feel that some people might get confused and think that this is a superhero story because of the stances, you know. And have to
just
like
reference.
No, it's not.
That looks more like sorcery.
Like I don't want people to be like, oh, it's like Scarlet Witch, and you're like, no.
Don't worry about people who have to put everything like something. Sorcery. Yeah. Look at this guy. That guy
right here. We have
kingpin looking guy there.
We have the king. This is Lucius Vash. He actually is the ruler of the world that that is. I guess I don't want to tell you without kind of ruining it. He's a ruler. I'm just leave it at that.
He's in charge. He could be in charge.
You don't sit like that and not be running.
Exactly. You don't. Wait. I sit like that all the time. Oh.
Exactly.
And then we have his second and number one in command. This is the Mistress Dakin, who is a sorcerer. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna say much more about it. But then we have Lucius's adopted son, who is Lucian. He doesn't have a mask because
So we got
add-ons that we have. These are all the cool T-shirts that will be available. This one is actually my favorite. This one here, the Beware the Nightfall, because it kind of looks like Michael is kind of like coming through your chest, so to speak. Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like one of our favorites. And we have the hats and the cups. This is actually a magic cup. So what happens is the cup originally is all black, so you won't be able to see this. Like you'll see it, but it won't be very clear as you see it now.
Right.
So when you put something hot in it, you know about it. Okay. Yeah. Right. So you put something hot in it and it turns white, and you can see that the little bit in here. This is also the string bags, and this is actually the book bag that we'll have available.
Nice.
This is actually my favorite string bag, though. This one.
I can see it. The art looks beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have stretch goals that we have coming soon. And this is the team. This is my brother, Terrence Young. He's always there with me at the conventions. And this is our color is John Cruz. Got the social sites, and that's pretty much it.
That is a good preview of the Kickstarter.
Right, a little something. Not gonna go into every panel or page or whatnot, but that's enough.
So when is the Kickstarter dropping?
The Kickstarter drops on the 28th next week.
Very good. There. Okay, so you guys heard that. It starts on the 28th of June.
Yeah.
And you guys want to support this because these books are amazing. I have my first issue over here, but I think I'm gonna have to get another one because now you've changed everything around.
Yeah, we have to give you a new one, signed, sealed, and delivered to you.
They look awesome, man.
Yeah.
You want to add one more tier for custom sculpture?
Yeah, hey, I like it. Maybe we'll
Anytime,
have
I'm
a stretch goal.
Yeah, so
Anytime, you let me know, man. I'll
me
help you out.
and Shadow have been working on that for my Hugbert Kickstarter. That he's gonna have a custom piece over there. So I'm like, ooh. So you might want to consider it.
Yeah, I mean that sounds nice. I like that idea because you already did Vaughn. Why not
Hey,
do
man.
Michael?
You know how excited I'm for this book to come out, man. I couldn't believe the last one didn't hit, but I guess
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
all
I
surprised,
think
man.
I have to break
like
my piggy bank
so many
and
different elements. Probably that reasons why. But this one, I'm fairly sure that this one should. We even lowered the goal originally to 1,500 instead of so high as it was with the
But
38.
before you had it so high because it was
that was
too
ambitious.
Right, we had two, and even the 3,800 was.
You guys must have come close, though.
Needed. What was that?
Yeah, you guys must have come close, though, right? I mean,
we came about almost 1,500.
okay.
So that's one of the reasons why I decided to just keep it at 1,500. So I felt like at least we made that with that one. With this one separately, we should definitely make that goal. And
That's
with
the
so
way to
many
look at it,
cool and unique rewards, like I said, the one where we actually give you the printed version of yourself being drawn next to either your choice of hero or villain.
Yeah, how cool is that, guys?
So
That was a cool tier gift, whatever you want to look at it. It looks fantastic. Who doesn't want to be drawn with the character?
right, you know what I mean? Drawn by
Immortalized in the pages.
Exactly.
So that was one of the things that we really kind of wanted to do. Usually, what we usually put is that we have you drawn inside the comic or whatnot, but we really kind of wanted to emphasize the hero and the villain. That's why when I did the piece that's actually the main cover, that's why they're both side by side with two different colors. You know what I mean? I think some people that don't really are not familiar with the story, they wouldn't know which was which. But when you dive into the story part, you can tell, oh, okay, so that guy is the villain. This guy is the hero. I get it now, And then you may be like, you know what? But I actually like the villain. He looks cool standing there with his eyes glowing with his two.
I have to admit, your villain
I want to be a part of his
really
team.
badass, man.
So, okay, you can be a part of that side, or maybe you're like, you know what? I want to be a good guy through and through. I want to go Team Michael. Okay, you'll be drawing Team Michael. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, bad guy enforcer all the way. Come
right,
on.
there you go.
You see how
Hey, I'm always gray, so I'm
What
the
a
shade. Nobody never knows what side I'm on.
there you go. Ambiguous
In
anti-hero
between,
also.
both?
Oh, that'd be interesting. Put them down the middle, have both of them on both sides. Who
Hero
is
for
this guy
hire.
a part of?
Yeah, right. He's just like a mystery. There is
Yeah,
a character that is introduced later on that's similar to that, but I didn't say too much already.
Yeah, man.
Come on,
We're
they're
just
all
building up that hype,
They're all
man.
teases.
And I like
Just,
how he.
just enough to wet your whistle and get
Exactly.
you in the future, then you leave it at that.
I like how clearly there's going to be a whole pantheon of different, fantastical forces and different sorts of superhuman elements involved in it. So it's not just werewolves out there. Other things go bump in the night, and I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, because I think there's so many different that whole different type of supernatural element that could be told in a different way, because that was, the truth be told, when I first decided to start writing this story, because when me and my brother came up with the company, we were like, all right, well, we got to have some stories, that just to get us started, to get our names out there and
Exactly,
who we are. And we were like, all right, what are we going to do? My brother was like, I have this story that I've been working on for years called Salvation. I want to do that. I was like, all right, cool. He was like, so what are you going to do? I was like, I have no idea. I have no idea. And so, this was around the time when we first started a company when the big craze. I don't know if you guys heard this movie called Twilight. I don't know.
Oh my God, the sparkly vampire.
So
Ah,
it came out, and I remember just like, I'll check it. I heard about this guy sparkling. This sounds stupid, and but I was gonna check it out. I always feel you have to have your own opinion on whatever it is.
exactly.
It's better to just go see it and see it for yourself. So I went to go see it, and I was like, eh. But then when the guy turned into the werewolf, and it was like a giant chihuahua, I was like, nope. I'm done. I can't do it. I can't do it. You don't do that to werewolves. If anybody, I don't know if you can see it. I'm a huge fan of werewolves.
Nice. I never noticed that before.
Too. It's werewolves, but
badass.
I was just like, no, this is no. I can do a story. I can do a story that and so that was kind of where the idea came. It was like, all right, I want to do kind of a story like that where it's like a love story, but has different elements of different supernatural entities as well. But I was like, okay, so I have that. What else can I do to make this story different? And I was looking at so many different werewolf themed stories. Think ones that I love, like Underworld or
Exactly.
The Howling, or any of those type of stories. And one thing that I really was missing was that there's no people of color as the main character. And I was like, okay, well, this needs to be in the first format. Like that needs to be right there. So, I'm gonna have no sub characters. It's gonna be the main character. So when I did that, that kind of really opened up the creativity juices. I was like, all right, so usually when you do a werewolf story, the main character usually somewhere in the woods or somewhere secluded. I was like, no, we're gonna eliminate that straight out. Like he's gonna be out in the open. He's just gonna be a normal guy living out in the normal street life or whatever. Not the hood, but just just living in the houses around other people. Normal guy. But I also didn't want it to be pushed as like this is a black guy. Oh, I'm a black guy living and then I'm a werewolf. And, I didn't want that to be emphasized. I just wanted it to be that he is a person of color and that's it. It's not
just
that
a person.
He's just a person.
Black. And I think that's important because I feel like we keep finding all this stuff where he's black and the story is because he's black. And then you're like, dude, just write a story.
Yeah, like to me, I don't know if you guys seen Lovecraft Country.
I haven't yet. I'm looking for it. I was stacking that up. I'm gonna try to get it.
And I liked it, but the thing I just couldn't get over was that they just heavily used the race card, and I was just like, oh man, like let's just keep it with the fantasy. Like, why can't we have like a genre where it's just straight fantasy and it doesn't have to do anything about race or anything like that? Let's just do that. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to emphasize in the Nightfall series, is that it's just a fantasy story. It's a story about a guy who happens to be a werewolf and he doesn't know it, and that's his journey into the whole world. But at the same time, his journey is your journey. That's why it's black and white and it starts in color. It's one of the reasons. There's another reason when you read the story. But I also wanted to, incorporate different supernatural themes. Like his sister is actually a witch. And then his aunt is like this badass, but the reason how she changes is something that's never really been done before. I just wanted to throw in so many different elements. There's actually so many more that come down the pipe later into the series. So this series is not done by any means of imagination. He actually is going to have a daughter named Hope, who's actually going to continue the story. So this is going to be around for a while. But
do you have an end in mind for the story as you started it already?
For his arc, yeah, there is an end for his arc.
I like that when a creator knows where it's going to go, so we don't wind up one of those stories.
Right,
like, man, I'm super invested. It's like, I don't know, whatever. The zombies attack or something. Fuck you.
Another cool thing too, that I did was that it's the first issue, or just all of them really. It's the way I could just describe the story is that it's not straightforward. It's not just like beginning, middle, end. There's things in the stories where you can look at issue 2 and go, oh, that's cool. And then go back to issue 1 and go, oh, it's right there. Oh, I didn't even see that. The way how I could describe it is that it's pieces of a puzzle, of a big puzzle. but the puzzle is not, like you're not giving the pieces one after the other to put into
it's not linear.
the other piece that you had. It's just the piece that goes up top there, then it's the piece that goes down there. And then when you finally get the full story, you might have to go back to issue 1 and go, oh my God, the character was right there on the beginning. I didn't even see it coming. Because it's a horror story. It's got action in it, but it has a lot of drama. It's got a lot of mystery involved, a lot of things that you didn't see coming. And that's what I really enjoy about the story. I wanted to give people, so even if you're familiar with the series and you've read issue 1, you read issue 2, you read issue 3, and then when issue 4 comes, you go, huh? What's that? And then you go back to issue 2 and you go, oh, I see what he was talking about now. I didn't understand it then, but now I get it more, because the way I call it is replay value. For gamers out there, they know exactly what.
Of course, exactly. Right away.
But,
I want to play through the game and go, I want to go back over there and see what's going on because I just saw this over here.
Right. So that was one of the things that I wanted to do with the comic. I just really wanted to just use as much creativity as I could. That way, when people see other stories from us, they go, you know what? I really enjoyed the Nightfall story, or that Salvation with the Vaughn and his curse mark. Man, what he got now with Brook City, that's totally different. I want to try it. I want to see it, but when it comes to going back to, I guess you could say our roots, where it comes like horror themed or more serious based stories, we go back with the Immortal story. And the Immortal story is about the main character. His name is David Morris. He is a normal guy that I was about to say, he has a legacy line of werewolves. I've said it so many times in my head, but he's a normal guy that actually develops the ability to become immortal, that he can't die because he actually is a savior of an alien invasion, and he develops this power when he kills his first alien. And the story basically, it takes place 200 years after him saving the world. I really kind of wanted to dive into the question of what exactly is the negative side of living forever. There's many people like, man, I want to live forever. But okay, what's the bad side? So now you have your family and your friends that you love dearly. Now you have to literally watch them age as you stay the same. Now you have to watch people that you grew up with now get older. Now some of them might even hate you because you can't age. They are aging. They're going to die. You have to see that. So now they might start to resent you. So there's so many things that character deals with. And then also because he was basically a savior of the human race, he developed PTSD. Usually people that have PTSD, they see someone to help them do their day-to-day, or they take some type of pills, or suddenly, unfortunately they pass away. He can't die. So he has these things that he has to deal with on a day-to-day. Now he's been alive now for almost over 200 years. So he has to deal with these things all by keeping this not facade, but this image that he is this, this guy that has saved the world, like a hero. Right. So he has to keep this image, and he can't really be seen being sad, being depressed. Oh, there you go. So these are one of the things. These are all the things that he deals with. That's why I really wanted to show in the cover that his face. They say that
his eyes, man,
is the gateway to
window of the soul.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah,
it's his eyes.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a very happy guy.
No, he looks sad.
It was very painful.
Yeah.
And then
also, he captured that.
Another really cool thing that I wanted to do is the titles. The titles or the names is something that's always really important to me. So even though it's called Immortal, which is very generic and everybody knows that, the title of it gives it so much more of a meaning. As you can see, the title, it looks like it's breaking apart. It's shattering. Right. It's not strong and sturdy like it's supposed to, because that's showing his mental. His mental is that he's actually a man that is trying to keep up this image, but inside he is breaking, he is falling apart because of his life, the things that he's had going on since he had this ability. So that's one of the reasons why it looks like that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, no,
I think
he
you
did a great
got it
job.
there.
You can see it in his eyes. You see the sadness. You see
That
the
was
wow.
something I really wanted to show was that he's he's in front of the limelight while he's got all these mirror, the microphones there and then the camera flashing, and but he's not happy. He's not a happy man. He's trying to keep up this lifestyle that's getting even harder day to day because of the things that he's gone through. But this story here is so much going on in it. I can tell you all of that stuff that I just told you, but then there's still more stuff that goes on within it. So you're seeing that stuff, and then you're seeing something totally different that's added into the story. It's just a really crazy roller coaster. I can't wait to finally get it done and to have everybody see it and really just get everybody's opinion on it. It's really gonna be a fun ride.
Yeah, man. All your stories are just, they got weight to them. I mean, this one's it's on a similar, internal conflict of the other ones, but it's in such a different way. I mean, I'm super excited about all the stuff you guys put out. Really,
I want people to really, really be emotional when they're finished with this story. I want people to really understand.
I'm sad just looking at this guy, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's some pain in those eyes. God.
Yeah.
I mean, you just, you look at the guy, you're like, so brother, I'll give you a hug.
He's got the big, like the medallion hero of the century and all this. It's like,
because this basically what this is, and
this guy's struggling, man.
Every couple years they have like this celebration, and they towards David, showing their respect and thanking him for saving the world. And so this year they gave him this medallion, the hero of the century, because he's been alive for that long. And that's what he's going to accept. But there's so many things that happens. Like right from the beginning, I wanted to show you why, some of the reasons why he's going through and why he looks like that. And right from the beginning, it's just really, really hardcore. Like, because, like I said, with our first stories, we really kind of wanted to just really not go full blown on 100 miles per hour with the story and the graphics and the gore and all this stuff. We wanted to kind of really have not necessarily a family friendly stories, but something that everybody can enjoy. And that's what we have with this 2 series that we have now. But this is rated R. This is not for little kids. This is a straight rated R. There's a lot of nudity. There's a lot of cursing. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of pain. This is a very, very adult themed story. I can't even really give it even a reference really, because it's a futuristic noir story. How many futuristic noir stories?
2 of my favorite categories, man.
Exactly, right? Noirs is really one. Funny thing about noir stories is that I didn't really know I was into them until I seen Sin City.
Yeah.
Well, noir is fantastic. I was like,
this is good. I like this. I like the look of it.
I've always been a fan. I'm a big fan of the noir detective.
Yeah.
A lot of my characters keep going in that direction. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I always liked it, but I didn't know that was what the genre was called until I said, I saw Sin City and I was like, what is this genre? What is this look? What is this art style? This is so crazy. I like how, it's black and white, but they have little specks of color in certain scenes to really give you that amplified feel. And I was like, I like that. I want that in my story, but I didn't want to really just have it a noir story. I wanted to be more of a futuristic story because of the fact that I didn't want to show his journey of how he is, immortal and he's saving the world. I wanted it to be already past that. So that's already done with, what I mean? This story is really about his journey to still try to be or cope with the lifestyle that he lives.
Well, some of the best noir is some of that futuristic noir. So,
yeah,
I
have to see some because I don't know too many futuristic noir stories. Actually, I'm wrong. Greg Anderson. He has a futuristic noir story called The Gentleman.
See,
Yeah.
you
So
seen it?
yeah, his that's
There's a genre of futuristic noir. You know, it's out there. If what's the name of that movie? Blade Runner.
Oh yeah. Blade Runner is a futuristic. Yeah, you're right. I didn't like the new one that they came out with though.
Well, that's because they try to make it less noir.
Yeah, I just it was kind of boring. It's kind of boring. Like, noir stories are supposed to be very slow build, and but that one was just like, this. Nah, I'm good.
You know what it is? As much as we like noir, I feel like Hollywood decided that it doesn't like noir.
Yeah.
So anytime, and that's why Sin City was so good, was because they actually, let Frank Miller do his noir instead of like pulling him out of there. And they got in trouble for that because when Frank Miller was doing his directing, he wasn't supposed to be directing.
Robert Rodriguez didn't direct that.
Well, he had a co-director.
Snyder.
Oh, he called.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, that really opened my eyes. I was like, man, this like, that was another thing too, that I didn't know that I was really into, like, the way how things were shot. My girlfriend, she's like trying to slowly get into directing. She's a photographer, and she really like shows me different. Like, this is what this is shot is, and this is what this is, and I'm really starting to get into that too. It's really kind of cool to see those type of things like that. I always like learning something new. Honestly, it's always
like angle wise or aperture.
Yeah,
or,
like the way how things were shot from like a certain view or angle or perspective. The lens, like we were watching this Spike Lee movie, and she was telling me about like the reasons why he shoots certain things that way. Like there's a scene in Do the Right Thing where the way how it's shot is that it's shot down so the characters look taller. It's because the characters supposed to look more intimidating by looking taller like that. And then when the characters are smaller, because they're being talked down to, so it makes them feel small and inferior. I was like, damn, that's cool. Like, that's a cool little trick of, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, man, that's so cool, So that's always been something that I always enjoy, just learning something new. And she's always showing me something new or teaching me something new. And it's always cool to see.
Yeah, camera work is fantastic, and all the little tricks that you do to make things look certain ways, because sometimes they don't look the way they need them to look. But if you play with the camera enough, you can do what you possibly can do with just tricks.
Yeah. She's directed like this YouTube show called what's it called? I forgot. The Real Rodriguez. It was actually pretty kind of funny. It was more like a what's those documentary? It's like a documentary, but it's like a comedy.
Mockumentary.
Right. Yeah. It's like that, and it's about like this guy who's like this single guy. He's like up in age, and he's trying to find this girl through like the interview that he's being interviewed, whatever. It was actually really kind of funny, and she directed a couple episodes of it. She's done a few music videos. She was actually supposed to direct a music video for You God from Wu-Tang.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. She's really getting into it, and I just like to see something new, someone doing something that they enjoy. So I'm always trying to help her any way I can. But she's super talented, and I just like learning something from her. She's always teaching me something when it comes to movies outside of just me watching it and enjoying it. Sometimes I'll tell her something like, oh, you see this way how they put that together? That's what you call a foreshadowing. And she's like, oh yeah. And then she's like, you see how this is shot? And so we're both like teaching each other.
That's the best way to go, bro.
Right. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool sometimes like that, where we can pick each other's brain and talk about the movie outside of just, wow, that was a good movie, and just leave it at that. We can go into really deep depths and talk about stuff that's kind of fun sometimes.
That's awesome, man. I mean, yeah, you just adding tools to each other's arsenal there. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
when you got people who you can actually bounce ideas off of and they expand on it for you, that's what it's all about.
That's like me and my brother. Like sometimes we don't even have to like we finish each other's sentences, and it's sometimes like, can I just be me? Can I say what I want to say? Like, don't say what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it, and then you say something afterwards. Like we always finish each other, but like when it comes down to the stories, we're like just it's give and go. Like here's this, and oh yeah about that. Oh yeah about that. That's what's so fun about the Brook City story is that it like we're at the point now where we have to figure out what do we want just for the first mini series is this first issue. We have so many scenes, so many chapters that we wanted to put into it, but we were like, well, if we put all of that, then it would be like 60 pages.
Giant sized,
you know. So we're like
giant sized issue. Come on.
Yeah. Start off with the giant.
Be like the classics, man.
It's so
Giant sized X-Men,
so
you know?
Pop culture references that we both can enjoy, and we feel that people that we talk to or know will automatically recognize. Like, oh yeah, you know, I know that. That's from such and such. And like, exactly. You know, like there's so many. So we're still trying to cut some down and to really try to you know, make sure that it flows, but we have enough content there where people can really enjoy it and laugh, you know. But the best way I could describe the Brook City story is that if Family Guy and the Boondocks had a love child, that's pretty much what.
Okay, I can see that.
You know, like it's really over the top. It's really crazy at times, but sometimes every now and again there might be a lesson in there that you might, if you can weed through all the craziness, you can see it. You know, we didn't want to like have a story, you know, any type of story where we're beating it down your head like this is what you're supposed to be learning. You know, we wanted to just really be funny, you know, and that was what the main criteria was for the story. And it's just really funny, you know, and fun just to have my brother and we're sitting down and we're just like, oh, what about this? What about that? Yeah, that's good. Take that back. Maybe we do this. And then, like I said, when it was all said and done, we was like, well, how many pages is that? He was like, well, we're looking about 63. I was like, whoa, we're gonna have to take some of that out. But it's hard, you know, it's really hard. So
well, that's the process, you know, and you're right, it's really hard. One of the worst things as a writer is, you know, trying to like bring everything down to a tasteable bite, you know, an eatable bite, because you know you like, well, you have all this stuff, then you go, well, okay, yeah, especially with comics, you go, well, we can just break this up, put this in the next issue.
Yeah, because actually, truth be told, you know, like our name says, you know, animation comics, you know, the Brook City story was originally supposed to be an animated series, but you know, animation is it's very expensive to do that type of stuff. You know, we do have an artist that we're kind of slowly working on, but we decided like maybe we can get our names up there a little bit more. That way, if we do push out an animated series, people will already know who we are, and there wouldn't be too much of like a grind to get it out there and get our names out there. People really want to just purchase it, you know. So we decided that our superhero universe is what we're gonna kind of really push that for. But it's hard too because you know in the indie world, there's so many people out there that really kind of start with superhero stories
all the time.
Yeah, and they get so much, you know, awards and acclaim because it's a superhero story, you know. And you know, at times I'm just looking at some of them like, man, I should just tell mine right now, put it in comic book format, and just, you know, have everybody, you know, because it's I'm not gonna say it's easy because you know it's never easy to create your own stuff. No, but I feel like the superhero genre is, you know, like if you know or you're inspired by anything that's out there now, and you take a little bit of that and you push your own flavor to it, you're already halfway there. But when you're doing something like an immortal story or something that's never really been done before or seen, it's a little harder to put those eyes on it, you know.
That just means you're leading the charge, though, man. I mean, Immortal's very unlike anything that I can think of right now.
Exactly.
And horror in general is it's pretty hot right now. It's only going to get more.
That's true.
That's where it's going to transition to, I think, after
Yes, people
after
are
the superheroes.
clamoring for that stuff now. Like Shadow Rabbit is saying, people are clamoring for like a lot of the supernatural stuff.
I think Boom is coming out with Tiny and Snyder and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there, and your stuff is right up there with it, I think. So
yeah, so but I don't know. Maybe one day you might see my superhero story come out there just out of the blue, just to test the waters. But I really do kind of want to really start to utilize our name and put that animation out there. See what we can get out there.
Don't get me wrong. I'm also super excited for this one too. I mean, that looks like it's just gonna be fun, and it's
that looks like it's gonna be fun. Yeah.
There's no limit to that.
Time.
The funny thing too is that we were actually thinking about not this issue, but the next issue, to have some of our friends like cameo in the story.
That'd be a good way to go with it, yeah.
So maybe you guys might be in the next one. You never know.
That's one of my goals in life, is to be a background character and as many cool things as I can.
Like I said, there's no limit to the Brook City story. It's meant to be crazy. It's meant to be wild. So why not bring some friends along? You know what I mean?
That's the fun part of it, yeah. As a writer, I tell people all the time, be careful what you do to me, because I might just kill you in a book.
Oh, it's true. Yes. Okay, you want to go with that? That's a good segue. Check this out. So in issue 2, right? There's when Lucius is actually being introduced. There's a person that he's talking to. His name is John. My colorist name is John. What happens to John in issue 2 shall remain nameless, but or unknown. But let's just say it's not very good for John.
You're really paying him back.
I had some space to really put in a character, but not an important character. And I was like, man, I love throwing Easter eggs. What could I throw in here where it would be maybe something that not everybody will know, but it will be a good story to tell people when I'm explaining the story. And I was like, who can I throw in there? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw in John. John's gonna get it this time. Because I'll tell you, all right, so I'll tell you another Easter egg. In issue 1, in the very beginning of the story, Michael is a normal, like I said, he's a normal college quarterback. So it starts out with him on the field,
right?
Doing some plays. And the call out that he calls is 310, 310. 310 is actually the birthday of my brother. He was born in March 10th. When one of the characters who is his nickname is actually Ace. And he actually he talks to Michael and he goes, Michael, you know what time it is? And he's like, yeah, I know, it's showtime. Showtime is actually my nickname. So right there in like 3 pages, you get like so many Easter eggs that not many people might know. But like I said, it's not every Easter egg is something that is really meant for everybody. Sometimes the Easter egg can be just meant to send a message to a friend or a family member or whatever. And the Vash name itself is actually an Easter egg itself, because I'm a huge fan of anime. One of my favorite animes is Trigun. In the story Trigun, the main character's name is Vash, the Stampede. The football team that Michael Vash plays for is called the Stampede. So there's a little Easter egg where the announcer goes, can Vash and the Stampede defeat this team? Easter egg, so those are things like that where I wanted to show my personality as a person, give you a little brief introduction of me without like telling you who I am or what I am or whatever like that. Just a little something small, and then after that you can enjoy the story. you know, but just something small enough where you can go, wow, okay. Oh wait, I wonder if he likes anime. That was something that I put inside the Kickstarter, where when I'm showing the pages, I say yes, this is a Trigun reference, so people can know that yes, I meant that for that reason, like that. Like I said, the other Easter egg is that the one of the characters that Michael throws to, who's the wide receiver, his nickname is Ace. My company is A.C.E, or Ace for short. So
Exactly.
there you go.
So, speaking of which, and especially since we're coming on the 2 hour mark here.
I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
Oh, don't worry
No,
about
man,
that.
it was-
No, it's been all interesting, brother. So okay, let's go with your last word, your last pitch. You got stuff coming up. What do you want them to know? What do you want to leave them with?
Well, I want to tell everybody that our Kickstarter is coming up soon. The Nightfall Michael's Awakening issues 1 and 2. It is available Tuesday on the 28th at 12 o'clock noon. So definitely look out for that. We are also working on our Brook City story still, along with the Immortal story, but the Brook City story should be available probably around September.
Right.
You can follow us on our social sites, Facebook, Animation Comics ENT. You can follow us on Instagram with the same name, Animation Comics ENT. You can find us on our website, animationcomicsent.com. Some people say Animation Comics Sent. That's okay, but it's actually Animation Comics with an S-E-N-T. But definitely follow us, and to always keep up with all of our stuff that we have coming up. We're always posting something, whether it be our artwork or another special thing that I like to post on the Instagram is the Monday motivation.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, you've seen those. Those are something that I like to post every now and again, just a good way to start the week, just give you a little bit of inspiration, something that I saw, I was like, man, this would be nice to really share with someone. And that's something that I always like to post on.
That is important, because sometimes we do need some kind of motivation, or we just need a good word or something good.
Yeah. Also on our group page too, on Facebook, our group page is something that's very important to me, because our group page is mainly for everyone except me and my company. It's really to help others get their names out there, share their pages, share their Kickstarter, share their Instagrams, or if
I actually chose an interview to that.
Right, yeah, like it's open for everybody to really just share whatever they have. Maybe they did a new figure, post it. Even though Lewis doesn't have Facebook, but if he did,
I got one somewhere. I don't use it.
Hey, Burley uses it.
Yeah, I think I got one. I use the Instagram a lot. That one I understand.
If you ever just decide to dust it off, you know what I'm saying? You got the group page there for you to post whatever new figure that you made, man. It's like I said, it's really meant for everybody. Our website is slowly getting up there to that point where people are going to be able to translate all of those things that they post on the group page inside of our website.
That's awesome.
You subscribe to our website, you can create your actual profile.
Nice.
And put all of your links and all of the things that you're working on. That way, say if we're doing what I like to do every now and again is our Friday night fights, where we put random characters against each other and
I saw that, yeah.
decide who wins. So if you comment on that on our website and somebody might see that and they click on your profile, they can see all your stuff that you're working on.
Very good.
Like I said, one of the things that my mom always taught me, and something I was always raised on, is that, when you are in a position where, you have a company, you should always try to help others along the way.
Community
and that's something that I'm trying to do with my company. I have the group page, and then the website itself, as I said, you create your own profile. You already have your little business card, if you will, on our site. And if people, start to interact more with the website, more people will see your stuff and, grow like that.
We all believe that here, especially, the Benton Apple's always been about that, is the fact that we bring each other up You know, it's the only way to go. If we would just take care of each other, we'd all get to where we gotta go faster.
Right, that's a good way to end it before the 2 hours.
All right, guys, this has been the Written Writ, and you guys got yourself an earful of Ace. You got yourself an earful of Charles Santino and his beautiful book. Make sure you go and support it. It's important to support these things because the more you support, the more you get. You know, if you support the Kickstarter with Ace, you support the Indiegogo with Charles Santino, you get more stuff. You get more geek stuff. You get more enjoyable stuff. You get more stories. You know, the more you support, the more you share, the more you love, especially what we're just talking about right now. You know, let's lift each other up, brothers and sisters, because that's the only way we're going to get to where we got to go. And of course, as always,